Hi, my name is Jason Dye, and today we're going to talk about proper English. What is proper English? How do we know what proper English is? What is, what is good, right? And I'm going to talk today about language being social and language being good. All language, not just kind of parts of languages, right? But all languages being basically good. Okay. So first, recognize that all language is social. Okay, all language has a function. Okay, why do we come to Tutor? Right? Why do we come to English classes or whatever the case is? Right? Why do you seek the video? Right? Um, in other words, what does it mean when we say we want to improve our English? Right? Simply, probably means one of the following. Right? One, you probably want to reduce your errors. Right? We make mistakes. When we write, we make mistakes. We make a lot of mistakes, and stuff we don't necessarily see, right? It's there in our brain. We're thinking it and we're trying to write it down, and our brain is like on hyper, right? And it doesn't come back and realize that what we wrote doesn't necessarily make sense to a lot of other people when they're reading it. Okay, I run into it a lot, just kind of errors, mistakes. Okay, the best writers in the world, they need editors for reasons like that. Okay, just to make themselves more effective. I was trying to communicate this. I didn't communicate that. I need to communicate this. I need somebody else's eyes on me. Okay, and that's cool. Most of what we're going to talk about in the future will be based on that, right? Two, you may want to have a better grasp on the English language. Okay, especially first languages, the languages that you learned as a child are not English, right? Or were not English, right? And you're learning them. Have to learn them actually, like with books and stuff, and talking to people. And, it's an intellectual exercise. And it wasn't as a child. As a child, you don't need to. As a baby growing up and getting older, generally speaking, you don't need to learn the language, right? You learn mechanics. You may want to be recognized at work. You may want to gain access to other work, social, academic areas, right? That you are having a hard time getting access to, getting uh, in touch with. Okay. Um, the fourth reason, you may think you don't know proper English. You may think that how you speak, how you write, how you perform isn't right, isn't proper, right? These things are what we're told, and we communicate to ourselves a lot, right? I want to talk about these last 2 points, okay? That you recognize at work, you gain access to other people. And I specifically want to dispel this last notion that there's such a thing as proper or improper English, that there's bad English necessarily. Right? So first, understand that language is fluid. Language is organic, about as organic as something can be that does not have carbon over time. The English that we speak now is not the English that we spoke in Shakespeare, King James time. It would not be really recognizable to us. Chaucer's, Beowulf before that, especially. You know, these are things that have changed. Okay, and it changes also over regions, over places. My Chicago accent uh, is different from someone else's New York accent, different from some California accent, way different from an Australian accent or an Indian English accent, or and there's also some changes in dialect and meaning, right? British American. A lot specifically, most of ours are understood through vowel sounds, right? Um, But there's that, okay? We know that it changes over time. We know that it changes over region. We also know that it changes over class, over race, over ethnic background, okay? I have a different Chicago accent than my dad did. My dad, coming from primarily working class, uptown version, right? And that's different from, say, a black Chicago accent, right? Which kind of has roots in um, in the South, in Mississippi, and those kind of regions, right? That's all. That's all good. It's all good. That's what we're trying to say. Language is all good. There isn't one isn't better than another just because they're kind of viewed as the same as linguists understand. Language is all good, right? It's all on the same level. Some might have more access to power than others, right? But on the other hand, people are like, well, that's cool. I want to talk like that. I want to say bay too, right? And we take on phrases and things from other dialects that we don't in other ways consider to be appropriate, right? But in other words, all language is appropriate, and it matters a lot depending on who you're talking to, right? Access and stuff like that. Okay, so the function of language is to communicate with social circles, right? Language starts at home, especially starts at home, right? It expands, and then later it expands at schools, and then expands with friends, right? Later we modify our language, our speech, um, our writing, depending on other social circles that we are in, and other needs of language usage we picked up at home. The more you communicate with people, the more you sound like them. Okay, so you might notice that, like, if you live in one region with a noticeable accent, right, move to another place, and you kind of might modify your accent so you don't sound so accent, but really you just took on another accent. Okay, and then when you go back home, a lot of my friends say this, they change back to that accent, right? Change back to, say, the southern way of speaking, and automatically. Why is that? Because girls, right? If you speak more than one language and you're around somebody else who also speaks more than one language, who speaks your other language as well, you're going to find it more comfortable and pretty easy, whether or not you recognize it, to slip back into the other language or just kind of like, just kind of bring that out. Okay. Um, but we still have kind of that language we have at home, right? And a lot of us try to hide that, maybe. Um, that might be for professional reasons. That might be for just kind of social reasons or whatever. But that's still a part of you, and it's okay to admit that that's a part of you, and that that's acceptable. It is not incorrect English. Okay. So we know that some social, racial, class groups are seen as better than others. They're not better. They are um, perhaps powerful, perhaps more supposedly socially accepted by those in power, right? Yeah, right. But it does help us. It does kind of give us some kind of power to be able to be competent and familiar in a number of social circles. Okay. So this is what we're going to kind of talk about. We are going to focus mostly on what we call academic English, academic American English, or American academic English, right? How we write and all that stuff. Okay, that's mostly why you would come to an English tutor, right? There are other reasons that come to an English tutor. We will talk about those in the next video. All right. For now, have a great day. My name is Jason. Peace out.